Hello, my name is Emily, and I want to thank you for joining me today. Today's session will be about self-care, and I will teach you a few different resources to aid yourself in reducing stress, anxiety, worry, or even just to find peace and calmness in your own space. So I'd like to again thank you for joining me in my space. And today we'll begin with just some nice guided breathing. Sometimes in our busy day, it's hard just to even catch our breath, let alone find a calm and relaxing breath. So wherever this day finds you, just try and sit comfortably with a nice straight spine. Allowing your belly to extend on your inhale and to let it fall on your exhale. If you would like, you can close your eyes or even place your hand on your belly. And inhaling deeply to fill up our bellies and allowing it to release on the exhale. Sometimes guided imagery helps. So you can imagine that there's a big red balloon in your belly. And on the inhale, we're trying to fill that balloon. And exhale, allowing it to take space up in our belly. Inhaling, filling that balloon. And exhaling, let it go. Inhaling and exhaling. And on the next inhale, we're going to hold our breath just for a few moments. And then exhale through your mouth and let it all go. Just helping touch base with our body. Allowing our body to settle down and quiet within itself. And just acknowledging our breath. Feeling its normal rhythm. Whether you have a catch in your breath and it's almost not normal to take a full breath. Inhaling and exhaling. If you haven't yet, close your eyes. And we're just going to touch base with a few areas in our body. I'm going to run through these a little bit quickly, but keep your steady pace with your breath. Inhaling and exhaling. We're going to think of our right foot, our right knee, and our right hip. Then to our left foot, our left knee, and our left hip. Feeling both our right and our left hip joining in a three-dimensional circle. We're going to bring that acknowledgement up through the torso, to the rib cage, to our shoulders. Next, acknowledging our right hand, our right elbow, our right shoulder. And then our left hand, our left elbow, our left shoulder. Bring focus to our neck, our jaw, our nose, the center of our forehead, our entire scalp. Just acknowledging our entire body and how amazing it is. Here we can open our to learn about 3 points. They're called marma points. They're actually a technique, an Ayurvedic technique. And they are used all over. We have many of them all over our body, but we're going to focus on 3 main ones in the top of our head. So the first one is just the center of our forehead, or 2 finger widths above the bridge of our nose. And right here, we're just going to do clockwise and counterclockwise circles. This helps to reduce stress and unblock energies. It's also good for wrinkles. And just to allow the body to relax. I do like to use the 2 fingers, the second or the third and the fourth finger, our middle finger and our ring finger, but whichever works best for you. You can even use your thumb up there. If all of your fingers are maybe arthritic or tight, you could even use the palm, the heel, or our palm to kind of do the entire area. Generally, 5 minutes on each of these marma points. But for today, we're just going to jump around and show you the areas and start to loosen them up. My idea with a daily practice is making it manageable for your time. Not everyone has an hour every day to put in to these self-massage techniques. But if you can take a few away from this 20 to 30 minute session, it will add many benefits to your day. Or even just doing that when you feel that you're stressed and you're like, how do I break this anxiety or this panic attack? Try and insert a few of these techniques and see how you feel. So next, we're going to work on the second point. So we're going to take our full hand, the 4 finger widths, and we're going to go off that bridge point again, and we're going to do 8 of them. And there's a point at the top of our head. You'll feel it's a little bit of an indent. It's where our soft spot is when we're babies. And again, we're going to use just a few fingers, and we're going to go in circles. Going clockwise and counterclockwise. We can add a few different techniques in here. So I like to just generally use the circular motion. Again, you can use the palm or the heel of your hand, but you can also use cross friction. I like to use these on these top 2 points. I place my fingers within each other almost as if we're crossing our hands and sliding back and forth with just 2 or 3 of the fingers. So you can take that on the top, and if you don't hit the exact same point, it's okay. You're hitting the general area, and the marma point will still get activated and release some of that stress. It's going to add some volume to your hair as well. These top 2 points are actually very good for helping to strengthen your hair follicles, bring circulation to the scalp, as well as help maintain hair and regrow hair. And I like to alternate between the 2. My arms get a little tired. I will say here, do not do this on babies. We know that that is a very tender space and a very delicate space for all of those babies under 5. Okay, so the next one is 12 finger widths. So we're going to do the 4, the 8, and we're just going to do 1 more hand width, and so it's going to be on the top. For most, it's the top part of our skull. Sometimes associated with the ponytail space, that we will put our ponytails up and cause some stress and tension up there. This one I like to dig in a little bit deeper. And again, finding that breath. You know, focusing on the points that we're working on sometimes gets us out of our breath, but if we can try and do the 2 together, after a while it'll sync up and become a union between the point you're massaging and the breath. Don't be afraid to get in there and do some of that cross friction with the fingers. If this is late at night, or if you have any hair oil treatments you like to do with your hair as well, it would be great to do an entire scalp massage after stimulating these 3 points. Okay, so now that we went over those points, I would like to now jump to our feet. And if anyone has ever had a reflexology massage, you know that our body is also stimulated by nerves that end in our feet. And so typically, without going through all of the points and all of the education behind it, we always want to imagine that our foot, it's hard to probably get it up here, our foot is the top of your head. We have our head points, we have sinuses, neck points, allergy points, all of those are in the toes. And then as we work down the body, the outer arch out here and the inner arch both have points along our spine, and our bottom is our sciatic. So generally in between, in our greater arch, we have most of our internal organs. Most of them, not all of them. And so we want to be a little more gentler and stimulating there. I'm always one, even when doing stomach massage, that we don't do too much pressure and we work our way into it until we know the depth or the pressure that we can tolerate without making too many adjustments to that system. So sitting comfortably, whether you are seated on the ground, I do have a cushion under me. You can put some pillows under you. You could be seated in a chair and bring your foot up, or if you have a partner at hand, you both can massage each other's foot. So there are 3 basic techniques I use, and I'll show you different ways of administering them. First of all is tapotement. So normally that's what we have as the chopping or the pounding when you have a massage. But with your fingers, we just use our thumbs. You can even use the fingers as if you're typing. So I like to start by doing that general tapotement, starting at the top of the foot and going over each tip of our toes. Making my way from the inside all the way to the outside. This just helps loosen up the tissue of the skin, generally on the bottom of our foot. Unless you receive regular pedicures or use a pumice stone regularly, we have more rough tight spots on our foot. Sometimes calluses, according to most reflexologists, will say that calluses say that you are stimulated or overstimulated in a certain corresponding area. But we'll make our way all the way down to the heel and then make our way back up with the tapotement. Paying attention if there's anywhere that is tight or tender on the bottom of your foot. And our pressure should be just getting through the top layer or 2 of the sole of our foot. We don't want to be hurting our thumbs or hurting our foot. Next, I like to use the heel of my hand, and we're going to rotate them back and forth. So it's a motion going in the opposite, actually the same direction, but we're going at opposite times. So let's start with the big ball of the big toe. We're going to place our right hand under and our left hand on top, and we're going to rotate, rolling it back and forth. Doing about 5 circles in each area, and then going over to the second, third, and fourth ball of the toe. And then going to the outer part of the toe. And jumping down and making our way all the way across. Once you get to the heel of the foot, it's going to be hard to use your other hand, so I like to support my ankle and then going clockwise with the deeper circle. And so we're not muscling it so much with our shoulder, I add a little rocking with my body into it. So I'm getting a little movement through my body as well. And after we make about 3 circles around our whole heel, we're going to take our heel of our hand and we're going to go in the arch of our foot. We're going to use our opposite hand to support underneath that foot as well, especially if we have tender ankles. And we're going to do a soft circle, and we're actually moving and gliding across the foot in a clockwise motion. The reason behind this is our digestive tract. It is linked to our belly and our abdomen, all the organs in our torso. And I like to do clockwise and then counterclockwise. So if anyone has very active issues in their abdomen, this should help counterbalance. We don't want to overstimulate or understimulate. So I always like to do clockwise and then counterclockwise. And at the end, we're just going to do a soft stroke from the top of our toes all the way down to the heel, just to calm down any of the nerves. There's other techniques that we can actually do, say if you're doing a morning routine and you want to stimulate and maybe cut coffee out. We can do a dry brushing technique on the bottom of our foot that will stimulate all of the nerves on our hands and the feet, and then do a dry brushing and a warm oil massage to start our day. It would be in replace of coffee or in addition. If you would like to see that, let me know and I can add that in a series of videos as well. So we're going to let that foot relax. We're going to let our hands support our leg going down. And just rock that foot back and forth, pulling the toes up and down. Since we've kind of been stretching that hamstring and the hips out a little bit before we switch to the other side, we just want to be kind to this leg. Maybe rolling the ankle a little bit back and forth. Picking the other knee up. We're going to prepare to even it out on the other side. Foot back up and doing the same. You are welcome to add more pillows for support or sitting on a chair. All of these techniques will work on a chair as well if seated on the ground or a cushion is too much for our low back and hips. So again, we're going to do tapotment on the top of the toes, working our way all the way down to the heel and back up. When finding our breath, coming back to that abdominal breath, filling up our belly, continuing to do the tapotment. I am calm. I am joyous. I am happy. And once we get to the top of the toes, we're going to again take the both of the palms and using the heel, doing that circular motion. So we're going to support underneath, holding the top of our foot, and we're going to rotate with the right hand or left if you are on the other side. Doing about 5 there, inching over to the outer arch. Making our way down the foot until we meet the heel. Again, you can let go of that hand on the top and just use the heel of your foot and the heel of your hand to do the work. If you are a little bit more flexible, you can bring that foot over onto the outer part of your thigh. It takes time to strengthen the hand to be able to do this for a long time. So even if you just get 1 to 2 minutes a day. From here, we're going to come up to that archway and making clockwise circles in the soft part of the arch. And then counterclockwise. And we're just going to softly pet the bottom of our foot. If you felt that there was any spot on the bottom of your foot that was tender, and it was on the ball of the feet or the heel, you're welcome to dig in there a little bit more. You can even take a tennis ball and do some rolling around in there. If you have a massage tool that works well, you can definitely do that. Just be careful in the archway, or if you have plantar fasciitis, sometimes those get a little irritated. But truly, I don't think too much massage is ever a bad thing. Okay, stretch that leg out again. And just pumping the feet back and forth, loosening up the legs. We're going to come to do a few techniques that are good for overall body massage. Things you can do on your own that don't necessarily involve your hands to do that either. I'm going to roll off of my cushion. And again, continuing with the pumping, placing your hands behind you. We're going to bring the soles of our feet down to the floor, and we're going to rock back and forth, kind of doing a windshield wiper technique. Again, if you have a tennis ball and you want to place it underneath the glutes, it would be very nice, especially to activate some of those flexors and those rotators in the hip joint. But slowly make our way down to where we are on our back. So we're activating and stimulating, bringing circulation into all of those lower back muscles, the hamstrings, the gluteal muscles, coming down onto our elbows. To the side. Just coming, rocking back and forth. My favorite part is the low back because it really helps loosen up the low back and the hips all in one. And from here, we're going to come to a laying position, and we're going to bring our knees up. If you can, interlace your hands in front of your knees, or you're welcome to go behind the knees, and just rocking and rolling back and forth from side to side. This is a great way to relax the spine and help the muscles on the side of the rib cage. You can even let go and let the legs splay out just a little bit. I like to use my elbows to actually rock myself back and forth so that it doesn't require so many ab muscles. Because we're really trying to relax here. We're not trying to get a workout in. And you can let your head roll back and forth to stimulate the release of the scalp as well. No need to hold the neck up. Flat on our back, and we can roll the hips out a little bit more. This one will require a little bit of the abdominal muscles, but this will get the sides of the hips released a little bit more. If you have a foam roller, those work really well for these techniques as well. spine. So we're gonna come back up to seated. And just like we did when we were rocking and rolling back and forth, we're going to hold under our knees and we're gonna go back and forth on our spine. If you have any neck issues, any spinal fusions or anything, be very careful and maybe opt out of this one. This one can be a little bit more if we have any sort of back injury. We're just using the floor. If you are on hardwood floors, this could be a little bit more, so you may want a second yoga mat or even a blanket. A couple of blankets piled up would be a nice cushion to help give you the massage on all the muscles of your back. Any sort of neck issue or headaches, don't roll so far up onto the shoulders. And when you feel ready, just go ahead and relax. You can place your knees together and your feet about hip width apart or at the edges of the mat and allow them to relax. Or if you want to stretch out a little further and relax, you can put the soles of the feet together in butterfly position and allowing them to relax. Another great idea would be to even put pillows under the knees. And those are a class I would like to show you later on where we do a complete restorative. Butterfly position. If you'd like to, you can place your hands up over your head. If your shoulders allow, they can go directly out at your side, or you can bring them to your abdomen. And just focusing back on our breath. Noticing how from the beginning of this session to the end, how our body feels. Do we feel like we're holding tension anywhere? Do we feel there's any tight spots or any spots that didn't move as well as the other parts of our body? And saying thank you to our body for allowing us to enjoy this session today and to show up on the mat. And taking the last few breaths here. And release our hands. Our whole body onto its side, just taking a few breaths. Sometimes when we get into a state of relaxation, if you stand up too fast, you could definitely get dizzy. So taking a few breaths on our side before we come up to seated always helps to make that transition. Coming back up. Taking the time for yourself today and allowing me to show you some of these techniques and tips that I've learned over the years. So hopefully I'll be back with more, and hopefully I'll find you back on the mat.